What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Dagruel understood this well, and it didn't faze him in the slightest. Their rivalry had endured for countless years, giving them ample opportunity to study one another's strengths and weaknesses. However, the current situation was vastly different. Now, bolstered by the full might of the Trinity, Dagruel was confident in his superiority over Veldora.
Come to think of it, this is the first time I've unleashed this power against you.
I should warn you, I'm not the same dragon you once knew.
Fine by me. I've already prepared my excuses if I lose.
Dagruel replied with a grin. For the first time since his loss to Veldonava, Dagruel was ready to fully unleash his strength. Even when unsealed, Fen's aid had never been necessary, Dagruel alone had been powerful enough. But now, as an Ashura, he found his past self almost insignificant. The exhilaration coursing through him was unmistakable. The time for their long-anticipated clash had arrived. Dagruel was certain that Veldora, who once rivaled him, couldn't stand against the overwhelming force of the Trinity. Magic was useless here. With 3 faces and 6 arms, he lacked any blind spots, and his body, enhanced to a level surpassing even the hardness of Vajra stone through his hardening ability, could deflect any attack that came his way. For instance, even a mythical tier being like Glassword couldn't hope to leave so much as a scratch on the current Trinity form Dagruel. Such was the extent of Dagruel's overwhelming invincibility. Smirking with arrogance, he taunted.
Entertain me, Veldora.
Veldora, unfazed, let out a booming laugh.
Enough laughing. Save your howling for when you've actually won.
Dagruel's menacing presence had no effect on Veldora's demeanor. He remained as carefree as ever, neither cocky about his own power nor shaken by Dagruel's strength. He simply stood there, ready and willing to fight, embodying the true essence of a warrior. Veldora knew what was at stake. A loss here wouldn't just mean his defeat, it would spell doom for Ruminas and Xian as well. That was something Veldora could never allow. Though his lightheartedness lingered, he carried a quiet resolve that underscored his playful exterior. What unfolded next was a battle befitting legendary monsters. Veldora unleashed an immense beam of energy, thunderstorm, straight from his mouth. The attack was born from magicule particles compressed within his body, then fired as an explosive projectile. The energy raced toward Dagruel at sublight speed, rivaling the devastation of a charged particle cannon. There was no evading it. As it streaked past, sparking with violent discharges, one of Dagruel's massive hands reached out and effortlessly absorbed the blast, rendering it useless.
That's so dull, Veldora. Tricks like this won't work on me.
Dagruel's comment wasn't meant as an insult, it was a candid assessment of the situation. Veldora's powerful thunderstorm may not have phased the newly ascended Trinity form Dagruel, but that didn't mean he was giving up the fight. Unbothered by Dagruel's dismissive words, Veldora smoothly transitioned to the next step of his plan. Using Thunderstorm as a distraction, he activated his ultimate skill, Chaos King Nyarlathotep, to create split bodies. While he couldn't produce as many at once as his sister Velgrind, he could summon them repeatedly. These clones matched his own combat prowess, making them deadly adversaries in their own right. One of Veldora's split bodies surged forward, its claws poised to strike.
This time, it's for real. Taste the might of Dragon Claw.
Though the name was straightforward, its destructive capability was undeniable. The dragon claws, small in comparison to Veldora's massive form, unleashed an ultra-fast attack capable of rending through any material in existence. 6 shimmering, violet-tinged claws from Veldora's left hand slashed toward Dagruel, colliding with his hardening ability. The clash of these incredible forces seemed to make the world itself groan under the pressure. The impact was catastrophic. Limbs vanished in the exchange. One of Dagruel's arms, which had moved to block the incoming claws, disappeared into nothingness. Simultaneously, Veldora's left fist, which had delivered the devastating blow, also vanished. It was a heavy hit. For Veldora, however, it was merely the loss of one arm from a split body, a minor inconvenience at best. Dagruel, though visibly affected, wasn't defeated either. In mere moments, the arm he had lost reformed as if nothing had happened.
Just as I thought. Even when I finally managed to damage that absurdly tough body of yours, it regenerates instantly.
Say something, Veldora. I can't believe you managed to injure me like this.
They exchanged grievances over the absurdity of their situation. Veldora fumed, irritated that his supposedly devastating strike had accomplished so little. Meanwhile, Dagruel was equally vexed, shocked that his once unshakable, indestructible body could be harmed so effortlessly. It was almost comical, like 2 old rivals airing petty complaints. Their synchronization was uncanny, as if they shared a deep understanding of each other's frustrations. However, this playful exchange was short-lived. As if signaling the start of the real battle, their attacks intensified, becoming far more ferocious than before.
This isn't the time to revel in this fight.
Veldora finally acknowledged. The unexploded, split body had been retrieved swiftly, ensuring minimal energy loss. He still retained plenty of strength. At this rate, his recovery of magicule energy outpaced the expenditure from using the split body. But the same applied to Dagruel. Half-hearted moves were pointless for either of them. Veldora understood this through experience. There was no room for recklessness in such a duel. To gain the upper hand, they needed to force an opening. Just like the principle of kuzushi in judo, securing a positional advantage was crucial. Going all out in the early stages would be foolish. Both the Storm Dragon and the God of Destruction were equally matched. Whoever rushed carelessly would ultimately fall first. And yet, despite knowing all of this, Veldora disregarded the logic and charged straight at Dagruel.
Take this, Wingblade.
In an instant, Veldora created multiple clones. Unlike the fully autonomous, split body, these clones couldn't synchronize thoughts or act independently. However, they were pre-programmed with specific instructions, making them nearly as dangerous as a true clone. Swarming Dagruel at blinding speeds, these clones turned their wings into vibrating, high-frequency blades. The oscillation of their two pairs of wings, one large and one small, produced a deathblade zone that could sever molecular bonds. But Dagruel remained unfazed.
Damn, he still hasn't learned.
He muttered, taking swift action to counter. Instead of relying on himself, one of Dagruel's three faces, Glassword, turned forward. Gripping a massive sword with both hands, Glassword unleashed a spirit-fueled slash. Dagruel, or rather, Glassword, batted away Veldora's clones like they were mere pests. The relentless Deathblade Zone attack, launched by multiple clones, was reduced to nothing more than a trivial annoyance against Dagruel's overwhelming might. The massive blade, now exceeding 10 meters in length, moved at supersonic speeds, a fitting attribute for a godly giant. With Glassword's mastery over the sword, an impenetrable, absolute offensive and defensive sword zone had already been established. Any of Veldora's clones that entered this zone were annihilated immediately. None of them managed to achieve anything before being neutralized. Dagruel showed no sign of slowing down. As Fen's face came to the forefront, he issued a command.
Bind the chains.
Fen wielded the legendary Gleipnir, said to be capable of restraining even the gods themselves. With a swift motion, he aimed to trap Veldora. The chain shot out and ensnared Veldora in his dragon mode. One by one, the remaining clones dissipated, leaving behind only the chained Veldora.
Such a shame, Veldora. Your attempt to deceive me was futile. My true eye can effortlessly discern your real self.
Dagruel's true eye had no trouble identifying the source with the highest energy among the various clones. No matter how many decoys Veldora produced, they were useless against this ability. Yet, the Veldora bound by chains dissolved into black mist. Shortly after, an unexpectedly cheerful voice rang out, cutting through the tension of the battlefield.
Too bad, that was just a decoy.
With a taunting tone, Veldora's voice echoed, clearly enjoying himself. Dagruel was both irritated and astonished, unable to believe he had been tricked so easily, even with the true eye.
Impossible. You managed to fool my true eye? What kind of sorcery is this?
That, Dagruel, is what separates you from me.
Veldora replied, his smug expression practically audible, as if punctuated by a sound effect. Despite his confidence, the difference between the two wasn't as vast as Veldora pretended.
Even if you unleash all your strength, you'll never surpass me. There's a fundamental reason for that.
Veldora boasted, reveling in the moment. Veldora made an ambiguous statement, seemingly out of nowhere. Although it lacked any concrete foundation, it successfully misled Dagruel. Despite his reputation as the embodiment of tyranny, Dagruel possessed a straightforward and sincere nature. This quality was what made Dagruel stand out as the most formidable personality within the octagram.
You're saying there's a reason I can't defeat you?
Exactly. I've grown beyond what I once was. Don't make the mistake of thinking I'm the same as before.
Dagruel could have seized the opportunity, considering Veldora appeared to be lowering his guard. But, true to his character, he refrained from doing so, and that's precisely what made Veldora who he was. Veldora sidestepped Dagruel's inquiry with a vague reply. Yet, deep down, Veldora genuinely believed he could triumph over Dagruel. This confidence stemmed from his growth and the acquisition of newfound authority. However, he couldn't articulate it further, leaving his confidence shrouded in mystery for Dagruel, who remained unaware of the truth. As for how Veldora managed to outwit the true eye, typically, deceiving such an ability would be impossible. The secret lay in Veldora's ultimate skill, Chaos King Nyarlathotep, specifically its ability for probability manipulation. By altering the likelihood of his existence, Veldora seamlessly swapped places between his main body and a clone in a fleeting moment. It was essentially an elaborate deception. Combining parallel existence, probability manipulation, and spacetime manipulation, he could outmaneuver any authorities, analyze and assess functions. This unique skill set was one of Veldora's secret weapons, proving invaluable in countless situations. Veldora, as he proudly proclaimed, had developed a strength entirely different from what he had in the past. This wasn't just about his visible reserves of magicule but also a result of his consistent efforts. While it seemed like he was constantly indulging in leisure, he was, in fact, honing his abilities. This dedication allowed him to instinctively wield his powers, even if he didn't fully grasp their intricate mechanisms. To Veldora, his inability to articulate these principles wasn't an issue, as long as he could wield them effectively. Veldora found himself unable to articulate the reasoning behind his abilities. Even if he had fully grasped their intricacies, he likely would have declared them with his usual bravado. However, his lack of understanding worked in his favor this time. Dagruel, for his part, wasn't expecting a detailed explanation. He simply carried on.
I don't know what you're so proud of, but it's clear you've matured. You're not the same as the Veldora I once knew.
A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Speed Saber, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rosen, Jerry Sladek, Ray Perez, Jay, Donald Williams, Day of Light, John M, Godman Gaming, Markithian Tidwell, Adrian, Kumo, T. Bush, Kirisoto Sama, JV, Thomas, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Khalid, Christian Deshazer, Divine C. Harris, Montyboy 98, Ruben, Yuki Iki, Gray, Isaac, Koala King 93, Quilly Buckner, Alver, Normal Defate, Joshua Andrade, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, J. Rule, Nate, Leiron Sangkap, Lucas Guet, Jason Martin, Sky T, Andre Hamilton, Martin Ramos, Emperor WSA, Miko Espinosa, George Hage, Gobi Lin, Pratik Bandari, Faiz Mansour, Jackson Early, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Marl Barsha, Ralph Ignacio, Efrain Hernandez, Luca Gaming WTF, William Locke, Kamal Luke, Akshay Devate, Elvin Quarty, Ian Sikibiol, Thanakorn Lee Sawat, KACP9R, The Harv, Drayden Yamauchi, Joshua Wolf. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.